In the last week of 2026, a 754-foot cargo ship sailed out of Rotterdam carrying something no ship of its kind may have carried before. It was not a crane or a funnel, which you might normally expect. It was a wing at 150 feet tall, higher than a 12-story building, standing upright on its deck. And on July 1st it passed its first sea trials. Its maker claims this single wing can cut the ship's fuel burning by up to 10% using nothing but wind. So 150 years after steam killed the sailing ship, is wind seriously making a comeback in global shipping? Let's try and understand. This ship is the Tirranna, a 230-metre car carrier built in 2009, operated by shipping giant Wallenius Wilhelmsen, hauling thousands of cars on regular commercial routes. And that's exactly why she was chosen. This is a real working ship. The wing is called Wing 560 and was built by Oceanbird. This was a Swedish joint venture created in December 2021 by engineering giant Alfa Laval and shipping company Wallenius Lines. The name comes from its sail area, 560 square metres. It stands 46 metres tall, 14 metres wide, and weighs about 200 tons including its foundations. Classification Society DNV granted the design certificate in early June 2026. The installation took just 4 days between June 21st to 24th at Damen Shipyard in Rotterdam, and Tirranna sailed the same day the job was done, straight back into commercial service. By July 1st, both harbour and sea acceptance tests were complete. This is Oceanbird's first prototype on an operating vessel, and their engineers are now sailing with the ship, collecting real-world performance data. We have to address the elephant in the room here though. If we're going back to using sails, why did we stop using them in the first place? And can they actually be good enough for today's use cases? The problem with sails was simple. You were at the mercy of the weather. No wind equals no movement. Wrong direction and you're stuck tacking for days. For merchants and navies, unpredictability meant loss of time, and loss of time meant loss of money. Then came steam power. The steam engines gave ships something sails never could: independence and reliability. The captain could now choose his course and his speed, wind or no wind. Suddenly schedules became reliable, trade routes became faster. It wasn't instant, however. For decades, hybrid ships ran both sails and steam, using wind when they could to save on coal. But as engines got more efficient and coal became more available, sails became a backup, then finally a relic. By the early 1900s, the age of the sail was over. However, wind still remains an appealing prospect, especially for large, costly vessels. After all, why would you turn down free energy? Traditional canvas and ropes, though, would not stand up to today's modern shipping. This is where rigid wing sails come in. These are a high-tech, smart engineering solution to an old concept. Essentially, they are airplane wings turned vertical. Wind flowing around the curved surface moves faster on one side than the other, and the faster air means lower pressure. That pressure difference creates lift, the same force that holds 400-ton airliners in the sky. On a plane, lift points up. Stand the wing upright on a deck and lift points forward. It becomes thrust. Now Wing 560 has two segments, a main wing and a flap, just like an airliner. The flap angles against the main wing to create camber, squeezing extra lift from the same wind. The mast is carbon steel and the panels are a glass fibre composite around a lightweight PET core. The wing rotates automatically to the optimal angle, and it tilts down flat for bridges, ports and heavy storms. Once installed, the wing draws just 6 to 10 kilowatts, roughly a few household air conditioners, while helping push a 230 metre ship across the ocean. The wind does the work. So what does one wing buy you? Oceanbird says a single wing can cut main engine fuel use and emissions by 7 to 10% on favourable ocean routes. That may not sound revolutionary, but big cargo ships burn tens of tons of heavy fuel oil every day. So a 10% cut compounds into serious money and serious carbon over a 20-year service life. And we already have real-world proof that this class of technology works. The Pyxis Ocean, fitted with 2 wind wings and chartered by Cargill, averaged around 3 tons of fuel saving per day over 6 months of trials. In near optimal winds, saving topped out at 11 tons a day, roughly 37% lower emissions on those legs. And that's the honest picture. Wind savings swing with weather and route. On the right route, it's a huge saving. On a bad day, it's a modest one. There's also another angle: conversional losses. Green methanol, ammonia, hydrogen, every alternative fuel must be produced, transported, stored and burned, losing energy at every single step. Wind skips the entire energy chain. It arrives as free kinetic energy and converts directly into thrust. It's the most direct energy pathway a ship can use. Shipping carries most of its world trade and produces nearly 3% of global CO2 emissions, comparable to a major industrialized country. The International Maritime Organization is pushing towards net zero by around 2050, with a framework to price ship emissions moving through that adoption. And in Europe, it's already here. From 2026, shipping companies pay for 100% of their emissions under the EU's emission trading system, while Fuel EU maritime rules force cleaner fuels. The industry's verdict so far? Cautiously bullish. DNV, the world's leading classification society, certified the design and tracks wind propulsion as a mainstream efficiency technology. The International Wind Ship Association projects up to 10,000 wind-assisted ships by 2030. Wallenius Wilhelmsen's Lars Ekring calls this a full-scale installation in commercial operation, a real test, not a lab demo. And Alfa Laval's Martin Berging puts it simply: Oceanbird has moved from vision to reality. But let's be honest about the caveats. This is a prototype. Savings depend heavily on route and weather. A car carrier is a tough test. It's tall, flat, sides like a giant slab in crosswinds, and the wings add weight, cost and complexity. And one wing on one ship proves nothing at fleet scale, which is exactly why engineers are on board, logging every data point. The next year of numbers decides whether this scales. Oceanbird's next move is already planned. 2 more wind 560s to go on another vessel in spring 2027. And Tirranna is the real-world demonstrator for something bigger. Orcel Horizon, an EU-funded project with 11 partners aiming for a new class of cargo ship, drawing more than 50% of their propulsion from wind without slowing commercial schedules. The flagship concept, Orcel Wind, a 220-metre carrier for over 7,000 cars with 6-wing sails, designed to cut emissions 50 to 60% in regular service and up to 90% when everything aligns. But here's what can happen. Wind won't replace engines, and it doesn't need to. It's a permanent hedge on fuel. Green fuels will cost far more than today's heavy fuel oil, which means every percentage point of free propulsion becomes more valuable over time, not less. Ship owners installing wings today aren't making a green gesture, they're buying insurance against the most expensive decade of maritime fuel in history. For over 150 years, shipping treated wind as an obstacle, something to power through. Before that, it was the main option for propulsion. Now, an 150-foot wing on a 754-foot ship is betting that the industry's oldest energy source is also its future.